Brotherly love between the Ball brothers here.
It's a family affair. Lonzo gonna get a big bag at the end of this year.
Yeah,
he balling,
he is.
he improved his three-point shot, and Melo's 101. Let's start the show.
He is Jalen Rose. I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen Jacoby. What exactly is it that we do?
We give the people what they want.
Jalen, we have an update on the Aaron Rodgers situation. We have a huge win for the New York Knickerbockers in Los Angeles, but we start with the other team in Los Angeles, the Lakers, and it was Anthony Davis with 42 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists, looking like himself in a win against the Suns. What do you think about this performance from AD?
Performing like a top 10 player. That's what's anticipated, that's what's expected, and that's what they needed, and that's what he provided. Because this was a huge game. These last couple have been. And I'm not surprised that he's continued to improve. And what I see, Jacoby, is all over the floor. You see him dunking down low. That's his money, right?
Yep.
They're using him a lot more post-ups without LeBron, high-low actions, with Drummond throwing it to him, with Gasol throwing it to him. But then his face-up game is working. On the wing, shooting a corner three, playing defense, getting block shots. He's performing at a time of need when he's performing when the Lakers need it most. No LeBron, no Schroeder, no Kuzma against the Phoenix Suns, who have a chance to send a message now. You're the Phoenix Suns. You're the number 1 seed. You want your respect. You get the Lakers with all of those guys, and then AD put in work and still beat you.
There was somebody, I forget exactly who, that said that if the Lakers are in the play-in game that they're not going to win the West. Oh, wait, that was you. Let me tell you something, Mr. Rose. You are wrong. I hope they're in the play-in game because this is the team that's going to win the Western Conference. They have AD back. LeBron is going to come back either tomorrow or Wednesday. You will not pick against the Lakers in any 7-game series, and you know they're coming out of the West, but you still talk into a microphone and say that if they're in the play-in game, there's no chance they're going to come out of the West. Say it again. I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Hey, so here's the beautiful thing about me doing this multimedia thing, right? Nobody handing my back like Tyrone and Lester. I say what I feel on the day that it happens. And right now, I'm looking at them in the 7th spot. And I'm going to stand on and repeat what I said. If they're part of the play-in tournament, they ain't winning it all this year. Did I say it clear enough right then?
Jalen, you said they would not come out of the West if they were in the play-in tournament, and you know that's exactly what's going to happen. I hope they're in the play-in. I'm rooting for them to be in the play-in now because that will be so exciting to see them get the 7th seed, to see them go up against the Suns that they just beat without LeBron, without Kuzma, without Schroeder, and then win that series. And then I'll be on this show just telling you I told you so. It's a great day for me. You know why? Because there was another team in Los Angeles. Oh, that's right, the New York Knicks. What did the New York Knicks do? Oh, nothing. Just beat the Clippers handily, and Julius Randle didn't even play well. It was Derrick Rose and Reggie Bullock that carried the Knicks to another win, and they are soon to clinch a playoff berth without needing to play in. Jalen, what do you think about the Knicks' performance in Los Angeles?
You better shout out R.J. Barrett. Put some respect on my fellow lefty's name, making that corner three, making that wing three. Derrick Rose was outstanding in the first half. 9 for 10 from the floor. And he was an equal opportunity employer, Jacoby, because he scored on all 5 defenders that were guarding him. And Reggie Bullock, when you have somebody like Julius Randle leading the league in isolations and somebody like Derrick Rose coming off the bench an instant bucket, you need a knockdown shooter. And Reggie Bullock shoot the blood out the ball. I saw those two guys play together, I believe, with the Pistons. Reggie Bullock and Derrick Rose were just running with us recently. And so it was great to see them on a big stage in Los Angeles and a huge road win. The Los Angeles Clippers rarely lose at home to the New York Knickerbockers. It happened yesterday.
It sure did. It was a great win for these Knicks. They next have the Los Angeles Lakers, and that would be another huge win. They're about 2 games away from clinching a playoff berth. And you know what? They're going to be in the second round. They're going to be in the second round of the playoffs. I don't care if it's the Heat. I don't care if it's the Hawks. I don't care who it is. They're going to be in the second round of the playoffs. Remember where you heard it first, Jalen Jacoby.
Hit the brakes, please.
What?
I have to tell you a secret, David Jacoby.
You got a secret?
If the New York Knickerbockers play against the Miami Heat in the first round, you better enjoy these Knicks, because they'll be gone after that. You don't want those Heat problems. Listen. I hear you. I hear you, dog. You don't want those Heat problems.
Here's what it will guarantee. There'll at least be 4 nights in which there's playoff basketball for the New York Knicks. I can guarantee that. There'll be at least 4 nights where I'll sit down on my couch and watch the New York Knicks play playoff basketball, and that makes me happy. Jalen, ever since Aaron Rodgers on draft day asked for a trade, he's basically hijacked sports media. So now we have some new, unfounded, irresponsible quarterback speculation. And of course, it is about Aaron Rodgers, and it is his former coach, former Packers head coach Mike Holmgren, who had this to say about the Aaron Rodgers situation. Take it away, Mike Holmgren.
Listen, this is the second time the Packers have gone through this. They went through it with Brett too when they drafted Aaron, ironically enough. And with a franchise quarterback and a guy as good as Aaron, you don't treat all the players the same. I can't imagine the relationship between the coach or management or whoever's making the decisions and a star quarterback like that getting to this point. I wouldn't allow it. It wouldn't happen.
Jalen, I have a simple question for you based on that sound we just heard from Mike Holmgren. Why do you let it get to this point? Why not just give Aaron Rodgers what he wants? What do you want me to fire the GM? He's fired. You want a new contract? Go ahead, have it. Why don't you just give him what he wants?
This is not on the coach, because the coach has done a terrific job leading this squad to back-to-back NFC championship games. You can say what you want about the 4th and 8 call, taking Aaron Rodgers off the field and taking the ball out of his hands. But you hope your defense can get a stop at some point. This is about the GM. And here's the deal. You say fire the GM, you can fire the GM. As a matter of fact, you can keep the GM. You know what would make Aaron really happy? Pay him top dollar.
Yep.
See, what happens in business is it ain't just the text messages. It ain't just the emails. The GM can say whatever he wants. The coach can say whatever he wants. But Aaron Rodgers is going to look around the league and be like, wait a minute. I've been working with this franchise for 17 years, and I have 0 guaranteed money on my contract? It just so happens that he's the MVP of the league. Kirk Cousins would be unhappy with this. Jared Goff would be unhappy with this. Carson Wentz with a new team wouldn't be happy with this. So yes, Aaron Rodgers wants to get paid, Jacoby. Show that man the money.
They really should. I don't understand why they just don't give him what he wants. Because last time I checked, Gutekunst was not the most valuable general manager, but Aaron Rodgers is the most valuable player. So what's one way that a corporation or a business can express value? Salary. So pay him money. It's that simple. If he's the most valuable player, then pay him what he's worth and give him some guaranteed money on his contract.
See, Jacoby, but I understand what you're saying, right? But this happens in sports talk so much, where people try to act like you only can have an opinion based on what you accomplish. That's inaccurate. You can have an opinion by being read, being informed, and actually having an opinion. They shouldn't just pay Aaron Rodgers because he's the MVP, dog. They should pay him because he's been there 17 years and he's their starting quarterback. How about that?
He's easily a top 5 quarterback. He should have some guaranteed money in his contract. Now, there's another angle to this, which I absolutely love. The Cleveland Browns have gone out and said, you know what? We don't need Aaron Rodgers. We're locked into Baker Mayfield. I love this move because they're not going to get Aaron Rodgers. You know they would take Aaron Rodgers over Baker Mayfield, but they just went out and said, you know what? We're not going to make a deal. We don't need Aaron Rodgers. We love Baker. What do you think about this from the Browns?
I like the twist that you added to it, but here's what I'm paying attention to in Cleveland. Same thing we said about Atlanta after the draft. I'm trying to see what's going to happen with Julio Jones and Odell Beckham Jr.
What's going to happen with OBJ?
I'm trying to see what's going to happen. And I agree with you. You say that you don't want to be in the Rodgers sweepstakes because you're not in the Rodgers sweepstakes, and you don't want Baker Mayfield to get in his feelings. However, he should be a pro. And if I'm the Browns, let me tell you what I'm not saying. I don't want Aaron Rodgers. Because he may look back and say, man, the Browns had a really good offseason. Did you see their D last year? Hey, man, they might be a quarterback away from winning it all. Maybe I could go to Cleveland and do what Tom Brady did with the Bucs. If he does that, Baker would not be their quarterback anymore. I understand your sentiments. However, it's about semantics, the conversation, because they feel Baker's going to be their quarterback because they don't have a legit chance to actually get Aaron Rodgers.
Do you think the Cleveland Browns should trade Odell Beckham Jr.?
I think they will. And yes, because it's a salary cap driven sport. And when you look at the pieces of the pie, it seems like the guy under center performs well when he doesn't have a star receiver that he needs to feature. That's just what I saw. And so based on Odell's history of injury, but also his mega talent, I would try to trade Odell at his apex of his value based on being a Cleveland Brown. And if he's going to come back and you're going to pay Baker, do you feel like that's going to be the move long-term, Jacoby?
No, I do not. Here's where you heard it first, Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen says that Odell Beckham Jr. will be traded by the Cleveland Browns. Jalen, we have some news. Bradley Beal is out for a couple games with a strained hamstring. However, that man, Russell Westbrook, is on an absolute tear. We will give him his flowers right after this. You're watching Jalen and Jacoby.
Jalen and Jacoby is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you...
Weekend, keep moving or hit the brakes. We'll hit the brakes on this. He now has as many or more triple doubles than anyone that has ever played in the National Basketball Association. What do you think about Russell Westbrook's ascendance
One
this
of
season?
my favorite debates in the history of television was about Russell Westbrook. And it was about how he played and embodied something that I called positionless basketball. Because Russell Westbrook is a guy like the Big O that we really hadn't seen before. Like normally, by the way, your primary ball handler should not lead the team in rebounds. You know who should lead the team in rebounds? Your big guys. Don't look at Russell when he's getting 17 and 20 rebounds. Look at how many rebounds his big guys are getting. Now, he's led the league in points. He's led the league in assists. He's averaged a triple-double for the fourth season. The only time I ever doubted Russell Westbrook is if he would pass the Big O. You know why? I thought nobody had ever passed the Big O. If Magic didn't do it, if J Kidd didn't do it, I thought it would never be done. And enter this guy. It has been outstanding to watch his maturation and overcome slander. Hasn't he been slandered by the media? Hasn't he been slandered by KD? How about playing in OKC without Harden and KD? How about going to Houston to run with James Harden? That didn't work. Coming to Washington, people assassinated Russ's character. So please, when you guys get a chance, give me a compilation of all of the Russ slander. I'm his defense attorney for his last 10 plus years. And lastly, he's been to the finals once, Jacoby. And you know what I did when I saw him at the finals? I went down to the court, I gave Brody dap, and I gave him a hug. And I apologize for the media not understanding how dope his game is. Please continue.
Jalen, he doesn't get baby triple doubles. These aren't like 14 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 33 points, 19 rebounds, and 15 assists. He is absolutely killing it. They're going to need him because Bradley Beal's going to be out for a couple games. But he is the Steph Curry of the East. No one wants to see Russell Westbrook in a play-in game or a 7-game series. Moving on. We had a little incident in the Mavs-Cavs game. Keep it moving or hit the brakes.
Luka, one more technical. He's going to start being suspended for games. Keep it moving for now.
Keep it moving.
We keep it moving.
The Celtics needed a win against the Heat, and they did not get one. Keep moving or hit the brakes. They gave up 79 points in the first half, went into halftime down 26 points in a must-win game against the Heat. What is going on with the Celtics?
They were playing without Jalen Brown, and I'm telling you, some teams prepare and coach for the regular season, not Eric Spoelstra and the Miami Heat. So y'all going to see a different squad this time of year in the playoffs from the Miami Heat, trust me. They're working in Ariza, they're working in Iguodala to go with Bam, to go with Jimmy, to switch everything. Duncan Robinson's still one of the best knockdown shooters in the league. Tyler Hero's back healthy. They're going to get quality minutes from him. But I want to say something about the Boston Celtics.
Please do.
They're a first-round exit if they get into the playoffs.
Ooh.
A couple of years ago, I remember having conversations about who's the best coach in the NBA. There were a lot of people that put Brad Stevens in that conversation. So now I ask you, I'm going to give you a chance to think. I know you don't like follow-up questions, so I'm going to give you a chance to think. Eastern Conference. Who are the top coaches in the Eastern Conference alone this season?
Tom Thibodeau. Clearly, Tom Thibodeau. And I'm going to have to give it to Eric Spoelstra. And Brad Stevens. I still believe in Brad Stevens, but Jalen, here's something that's happening. He just got an extension. You've got Tatum locked in, Brown locked in, Smart locked in. The person who is going to have to pay for this first-round exit, if it happens, is going to be Danny Ainge. I believe that the Ainge era might be over in Boston. Why don't you agree?
I don't necessarily believe that because of what I just said. And there are rumblings for people that feel like if Brad looked like me, he'd be covered different in that job. And so I don't think Danny Ainge is going to be the fall guy or get fired by the Celtics. This team is talented enough to play better than they're playing, Jacoby. They just look uninspired.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they just look uninspired. That's what they're not giving effort. Like the reason why we gave it to the reason why you love the Knicks so much is because they play hard. That's the antithesis of the Boston Celtics. They don't always do so.
Jalen, DK Metcalf hung up the football cleats and put some track shoes on this weekend. Keep moving or hit the brakes.
Oh, man, I don't know why I'm using big words today. I'm in my bag. Hit the brakes.
DK Metcalf was the most impressive last place finish I've ever seen in the history of track and field. Like, he was straight up in last place in this heat, but he looks so good doing it. Look at him get out to a good start. What do you think about this performance from DK Metcalf over the weekend?
I think he's 2 times bigger than each of the guys that he's running next to. So the way I look at it, he could just pick those guys up and carry them, dog. It's a phenomenal feat for him to be his size with his bulk running at that breakneck speed. That is crazy.
It was absolutely amazing. It was easily the most impressive last place finish I've ever seen at a track and field event. Jalen, we have much more. Make sure you stay tuned. We have a special sentiment right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen, over the weekend, Canelo had another fight and got another win against Billy Joe Saunders. What do you think about the uppercuts, the end of the fight?
I think the business part of the fight game is getting in the way with Canelo having mega fights, so sometimes people don't appreciate his skill and his greatness. However, the way he damaged the opponent and gave him a career-threatening eye injury was outstanding.
It truly was. Jalen, we have some big news from rapper J. Cole. He can now say that he's a professional basketball player. He has signed a deal to play in the Basketball Africa League. What do you think about the rapper turned hooper?
Shout to the OG Master P, who was playing in the league when he was the top artist in the world when Bout It was out. Shout to J. Cole, because he got game. He been working on it for years. But you know what else he got? A new project, and he's always had bars. I know that.
Bars. Jalen, you went viral yesterday because you shared your feelings about your mother on Mother's Day. How do you feel right now?
Painful first Mother's Day without Grammy, without Ma. Thank you for everybody that sent texts, emails, tweets, IGs, sent support to myself and my family. And watching players around the league sports leagues yesterday. Karl Anthony Towns, who's during the COVID lost multiple family members. Pascal Siakam.